Hello there internet dwellers, welcome back to another video. Today we are reacting to a channel called Jack G Animations. This was recommended to me on my Discord by Nugget Boy, so thank you for the submission, I appreciate it. If you have something that you would like to send me on my Discord, join it down below, pop it in the Scarebaz submission channel, and if I react to it, I'll give you a shout out. So this one caught my attention because it's very, very unique, but it's also like, you can tell a lot of time and effort goes into these videos. So Jack G Animations is mainly a channel here, as you can see, about ocean liner designs and an animator, basically, using Unreal Engine 5. And if we scroll through the channel here, look, we got a World Trade Center Reborn, which is crazy. And I think even the inside was done, look, it's really nice. So I'm not sure if Jack G is like, what do you call those people who like render up designs, 3D designs of like prototypes and stuff like that to show what it's going to look like? You know, when like a new estate is being built, like a new housing estate is being built, and you see on the billboard what it's going to look like. I wonder if that's what Jack does for a living, but they obviously have a passion for big ships and airliners and stuff like that. So I thought we could check this out because they did an analog horror, specifically on the Lusitania. I think that's how you say it. So the Lusitania was a British ocean liner launched by the Cunard Line in 1906. She was the largest passenger ship until the completion of the Mauretania 3 months later, and was awarded the Blue Ribbon appellation for the fastest Atlantic crossing in 1908. Was there like a disaster here? Okay, and it was torpedoed by an Imperial German Navy U-boat during the First World War on 7th of May 1915, about 11 nautical miles off the old head of Kinsale Island. There was 1,197 deaths. That's crazy. How many deaths was in the Titanic? Titanic came first with, what did it say, 1,500 deaths? And then after that, Lusitania was sunken by a German U-boat and had 1,100, nearly 1,200 deaths. And they were like, what, 3 years apart from each other? Man, it was a bad freaking time to be a ship back in those days, wasn't it? My God. Anyway, so this is about, I believe this whole series here, Project Britannica, is about that, or maybe it's just about different ships. Before this video begins though, guys, be sure to leave a like rating to all the videos here that you're about to see. Subscribe to Jack G Animations because it looks like a lot of effort has been put into these videos. And we're just going to jump straight into this. Project Britannica. Introduction. Here we go. Get rid of that. We don't need that. There's a new watch page on YouTube, guys. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Project Britannica. There's no captions, so all is good. Introduction tape, Co4, 30-minute presentation. Why is that bit blanked out? Welcome to the project. This introduction tape will guide you through the history of our corporation and prepare you for full-time employment on Project Britannica.
Yes, you see, maybe I should do this voice. Yes. It's part of the times, I tell you that. 1911. In the early spring of 1911, the RMS Mauretania departed for New York but never arrived. She was presumed to have sunk somewhere in the North Atlantic after no trace of her was found by any ships in the area, nor a single transmission from her wireless set. After going missing for over 3 months, the Mauretania was found floating abandoned in mid-ocean by the RMS Olympic on June 17th, 1911.
Okay, so I forgot to mention this bit. Hang on a second. Okay, so before I continue, I think that this might be about different ships at the time, because there's a Mauretania, there's a Lusitania, and then there's obviously the Titanic. Anyway, okay, I got confused then because I mistaked this one for the Lusitania. I think that's how you say it, Lusitania. So yeah, I think this is the Mauretania that we're talking about here. Anyway, let's continue.
All 2,434 aboard Mauretania were missing, and the ship's black hull was stripped of all paint. Good Lord. Exposing the original white exterior she wore in the summer of 1906 during her launch. A crew of... Is this going to continue? Hang on, let's see. Okay, hang on, let's go back. A crew of 23 from Olympic ventured across the water to the Mauretania and managed to climb their way up using the ropes hanging from the lifeboat David sub the Mauretania. Passengers on the Olympic noted a harsh stench in the area and assumed it was coming from the Mauretania.
So this isn't a real story. This isn't based on real events, obviously, because the Mauretania, from what I can see here, was fine. And with the outbreak of World War II, the Mauretania became a transport ship, but resumed its passenger service in 1947. But when you search for like Mauretania 1912, it was in Liverpool. Oh, it was at Queenstown. Okay, so yeah, nothing actually happened to the Mauretania in real life history, but in this, something went wrong. Okay, noted. Let's carry on. Sorry, guys. I try and learn as I go along, because as of my latest videos, if I don't do the research then and there, I make myself look really stupid. So, RMS Olympic before the mesh. The mesh. SS Olympic assessment tape, March 1996. So this is the Olympic ship. Very nice. Listen to that groovy jazz. Is that even jazz? I wouldn't call that jazz. That's more like elevator music. Same thing, really. It's more like an instrumental. Wow. You don't get this any... Well, to be fair, I've never been on a like a ship liner, like a what do you call them? A cruise ship. Never in my life have I ever. So I don't know. They're huge nowadays, aren't they? They're absolutely humongous. Like they dwarf like ships like the Titanic and others back in the early 1900s for sure. But yeah, my history and my knowledge on ships back in the day is very limited. All I know is that there was some kind of conspiracy theory about Titanic and now it was actually swapped out or something, and it wasn't actually the Titanic. New lights to be fitted. God, it looks like a back rooms level, doesn't it? Like with the long hallways. Like, think about that, man. Like, sorry to pause it, guys. I'm gonna keep it going, actually. But like, a cruise ship. They're humongous, by the way. They're absolutely huge cruise ships. Imagine like just one that's abandoned. All that space, all those rooms just empty. And I guess that's what's happening here. But the craftsmanship that goes into stuff like this, to be able to keep it floating whilst building all these things on top of it, it's way beyond my pay grade. Okay, this is the map of the place. My God, look at that. 1996, so I probably would have been, yeah, I would have been 2 years old here. I didn't turn 3 until the end of December. Freight lift keeps acting up. Okay. There's a lot of suspense here. Because this is meant to be just like a review tape, right? Of like, is the ship worthy of selling tickets and is it safe? That is what this is doing. And this is the Olympic, right? This isn't the Mauretania. New music system works nice. The carpet is very like old school. New carpets from Frank. You can get a lot of illnesses on cruise ships though, just because you're stuck there, surrounded by all these people like sardines. Right. Tell Mac to move his tools. Mac, move your tools, mate. Bloody hell. Gonna get someone's neck broken, Mac. Need to add D-deck lights to this corridor. D-deck? Television to replace mirror stand. Okay. The big bulky televisions. Man, they were something else. Place 1911 fans in museum storage. So they still had things from freaking like 80 years ago. Missing toilet sign. Destroy the mesh. The fuck is the mesh? Can we talk about that? That's not a normal thing there, buddy. Looks like lava. The only other conspiracy I've heard about, like, ships is, they were doing experiments or something. I forgot what it was called. And, like, was supposedly playing around with teleportation, right? Or that's just the conspiracy of it. And a ship was found where all the sailors were kind of fused to their ship or something like that. I don't know how true that is, but yeah. It's singing to us. Hey, listen, man, you should pay it. Ooh. Clean corridors, refit new fans, store old fans in museum, music system in order, new carpets for C deck, destroy the mesh. What about the lights in the D deck? You forgot that bit. Destroy the mesh. Hey, where is this? Right, it's somewhere in England, obviously, because there's a big roundabout. Is it Liverpool? This isn't Liverpool. 1996. The thing about, like, recordings like this is this a genuine recording from the 90s? Because look at all these cars. Yeah, look at all these cars, man. This is genuinely from the 90s. If you were to tell me that this was animated, I wouldn't believe you, because it's very well done. This Jack is very, very talented. Holy crap. They deserve a lot more than they're getting right now. That's for sure, guys. Be sure to go subscribe and show your love. Tell him I sent you. Just go do it. Just say Baz sent me. Good videos. South Shields. I like it already. Like, there's not a lot of horror going on, except there's that kind of what the fuck is that mesh. But there's suspense there. And not a lot of people can... That airliner, nice. Not a lot of people can capture suspense well. I think it's all in, like, the sound design, to be fair. Visuals can be good, but sound design is key. Especially to a good horror film. Or lack of sound. So that's the Olympic. This has got nothing to do with the Mauretania. Or however you pronounce that ship. But this was the... ship that found... No. This was the ship that found the Mauretania. Project Britannica. Like 80 years ago, right? By Jack G Animations. Okay, so... here's what I think's happening right here. This was the ship that was sent out, right? Mauretania was found floating abandoned in mid-ocean by the RMS Olympic. So this ship's called the SS Olympic. I'm not sure if they're two different things there. I'm guessing RMS stands for Royal Majesty's Service, right? I don't know what SS stands for. SS, oh, steamship. Okay, so it literally just means steamship. Steamship Olympic. Was it Olympic? And obviously they found this thing, and there was missing, stripped of all paint, exposing the original white exterior. She wore in the summer of 1906. The crew of 23 from Olympic ventured across and managed to climb their way up. Passengers noted a harsh stench in the area and assumed it was coming from the Mauretania. So whatever happened over there was brought back to the Olympic. There was some kind of thing on there that they then brought back. It reminds me of that that Netflix series. This series here, 1899, very good series, by the way. It was cancelled for the second season, which sucks because it was genuinely a good show, and it's about like this cruise line. It's got a very familiar story to this one, I think, where they go out and I think they go and help another ship or something like that, and so they're then stuck for like 7 days. I'm not sure. I can't really remember that well, but it's this guy who, if you've ever seen Dark before, the German Netflix series, also fantastic, by the way, he's in it. But I don't know what it is with Netflix cancelling these amazing series. Like there was Archive 81. That was like a found footage one. And they cancelled that. Like there was a big cliffhanger on the end of the season 1. And there was a massive cliffhanger on the end of 1899. And they decided just to cancel it. And it's like, why, man? They were genuinely so good. But yeah. Less of that. So it's similar to that. They brought something back onto this ship from the Mauretania, right? So let's move on to the second video.
Project Britannica. Together forever. .mov.
Okay, this is... I'm going to have to kind of like tamper with the audio here because this is good old Rick Astley here. Look at it, you can't beat the Rick Astley dance, man. Fantastic. That dude carried the 90s. Or was it the 80s? I can't remember. I think it was the 80s. 80s and 90s. Okay, so this is 1988. Is this the same ship or is this a different ship? Okay, so this was like, what, 5 years or 6 years before? It looks like a different ship. Or is it? I don't know. Look at those freaking little boob lamps, man. Or the boob lights. Those were very 80s or 70s as well, I guess. Why is it? It's 1:25 a.m. man. I wouldn't trust this. I wouldn't be comfortable doing this. What is this person doing? They're obviously here against protocol or whatever. What the fuck? That does not sound good. Oh, hell no. You don't want to freaking... God, are you good, man? You sound like freaking Arthur Morgan. I couldn't get a good glimpse of that, but there's... Okay, the mesh, I'm guessing, is similar to the back rooms, Kane Pixel's version of the back rooms. I'm guessing, this is just a guess, where the actual bacteria or the mold or whatever it is creates these creatures. Similar to Vita Canis. What is that? Hell yeah, he's back. He's just got that one little dance move that he does for every single music video. Right, so yeah, that's my guessing so far. Together forever, I'm guessing that means they become part of the ship. If you're consumed by the mesh, you become part of it. Similar to the back rooms where this mold breeds these freaking, well, it doesn't breed them, but you know, they give birth to these stick-looking ass creatures, and then they're forever wandering around, basically, and they just, whoever they come in contact with, they then pass on this virus or bacterium or whatever it is, and then it's basically just like a, I don't know, massive virus, basically. Or more than a virus, what would it be called? When it's like you actually physically take over, I'm not sure. Like it's almost like a zombie thing.
Project Britannica, the Lusitania Archives.
Okay, guys, so this is the final video of this series so far. There was a video before this one. Let me have a look, actually. The video before this one was literally 16 seconds long, and it's Lusitania TV spot bad quality. So let's just quickly watch this one before we watch that one.
September 1st, you can own the adventure of a lifetime.
Okay, so in this world, it's not the Titanic? Okay, and I'm guessing the reason for that is that there was a chain of events, right? That maybe happened. So I think there's been some kind of like time shift here, or change of events in history, where something happened that made something to do with the Mauretania, right? And that affected if between the Titanic and the Lusitania, maybe on who it was shipping out to. Was it New York or Ireland? So yeah, I think maybe this could just be me being an idiot. Let me just have a look at the comments. There's a whole ass timeline here that we can have a look at, guys, by Ryan Daily Memes. So for now, what we'll do is we'll just watch this video, which is the last video so far in the timeline, and then we'll go back and read that comment and piece it all together. People in the comments are a lot smarter than me. Although I do like to try and piece it together myself. It's probably easier if I don't. Okay, UK National Archives, a lost Lusitania arrives in Liverpool 8 days before disaster. So is this in 1912? That's when the Titanic was, right? There's a whole conspiracy about Titanic as well, with the Rothschilds and what was that thing called again? The Federal Reserve, something like that. And like the people who were opposed to like the Rothschilds supposedly were on that ship, and the Rothschild decided not to go on that ship, and then the ship sank. I don't know, it's all a conspiracy theory, okay? I'm just a guy saying things with my head and my mouth, okay? I don't know what I'm saying. What's going on? You know, it's like, because obviously cameras weren't a big thing back in these days. They just had such a staring problem, didn't they? They just stood there and was like... And then their friend would come along, like, tap them on the shoulder, and they'd be like... And they're like, you know, like meerkats. When you see a meerkat, they're stood up on their hind legs and they're just looking like that. That's basically what these people are. They don't know what the hell they're looking at. Look, these people do not stop looking. This guy looks like he's ready to pull a pistol out. So this was meant to be the Titanic, right? But instead it's the Lusitania, which was, in our reality... Oh, here we go. This is the TV spot. So technically we didn't need to watch that other video.
You can own the adventure of a lifetime.
Lusitania. Right, so something happened there.
From England across the Atlantic to New York. Its 2,200 passengers include 10 millionaires, the great strength. And this ship...
Told you, 10 millionaires, okay? And those 10 millionaires were meeting to talk about the federal bank, and they were going to oppose it.
Biggest and most luxurious
supposedly
of its day is so well built with separate watertight compartments, they say it's unsinkable. It's an iceberg.
Just don't...
A movie recreated the tragic scene. Its hull fatally gashed by heavy ice is sinking. There are not nearly enough lifeboats. More than 1,500 people are drowned. 713 are rescued. Now...
Okay, so why... I'm guessing they didn't put a lot of lifeboats in there because they believed it to be unsinkable, right? Don't say something, don't jinx it like that.
73 years after that tragedy, a team of American and French scientists reports that the wreck has been found. The scientists used remote-controlled scanners and TV cameras in special containers.
This was in the 90s.
To withstand enormous pressures deep.
This was George...
underwater.
What's his name? George Cameron. What did that just say? Hang on, let's go back. They wouldn't let them out. Oh, something else there. Arrogance of man to be something nature is in his... Okay.
They say most of it is in one piece. They intend to leave...
Well, it was actually in two pieces, right?
This grave site undisturbed, but others may be attracted by the diamonds and other...
Others, let's say this. Others were attracted. Okay, great. So I'm liking where this is going, because it's one of those things where you don't know what the thing is. But something has definitely got a hold and like changed things around, right? The timeline of what we know to be true. Let's read this comment here by Ryan Daily Memes, because it's a long comment here. Let's see what they're saying. But okay, let me try and think of my little thing before I read this. So obviously something happened where is it the Mauretania? Is that what it was called? Was found by the Olympic. The Olympic crew members then go over there, smelling something, thinking it's from the Mauretania. Something happens there in which then the Olympic is then cursed with this mesh. Okay, and this mesh could be, I don't know, it changed everything. It changed the way the whole Mauretania being found, like the way it was empty as well, right? Changed history so that it wasn't the Titanic going over to Ireland. It was the Lusitania, which was meant to be sunk like 3 years later. So what actually happened to the Titanic? I guess we'll find out. But yeah, something weird's happened. Here we go. September of 1907, the RMS Lusitania enters service with a Cunard line. November 1907, the RMS Mauretania enters service with a Cunard line. March 1911, the RMS Mauretania vanishes on a routine trip from Liverpool to New York. All 34 people aboard vanish and presumed dead. 1911, the RMS Olympic enters service with the White Star Line. On her maiden voyage from Southampton to New York, the Olympic would come across the Mauretania. 23 crew members climb aboard and find the ship entirely abandoned. The hull was entirely stripped of its paint. What happened to Mauretania after isn't known yet. 1912, the RMS Titanic enters service with the White Star Line. Her maiden voyage is entirely uneventful, with the only incident being a near collision with the SS City of New York in Southampton. So Titanic, everything's cool, like nothing happened there on that trip, which is interesting, but the Lusitania was the one that struck an iceberg? Okay. After 1912, or perhaps September 1907, the RMS Lusitania, while sailing from Liverpool to New York, sinks in the Atlantic Ocean after striking an iceberg. So the fate that the Titanic was meant to get, basically. 1935, the RMS Olympic is placed out of service and is not scrapped. It is instead saved. What happens over the next several decades is unknown. At around the same time, the RMS Titanic is also placed out of service. It is also saved. 1980s. Project Britannica begins, in which a company begins repairing the RMS Olympic and RMS Titanic, possibly to make them into hotel ships, similar to the Queen Mary, or turn into a sailing ship once again. Hotel ship, basically a cruise ship. Togetherforever.mov is filmed, in which, this is February 1988, in which it appears to show someone exploring the RMS Titanic in the early morning hours. Okay, so that's the Titanic that was being filmed. And tragically, as they try to escape someone or something, they end up falling victim to presumably the mesh at the video's end. March 1996. The Olympic assessment video is filmed, in which we can see the Olympic is docked in South Shields, England, as it undergoes a restoration process. The ship is scheduled to be refit with TV sets, new lights, and has already seen the implementation of a Muzak system and several vending machines. What's a Muzak system? American brand of background music. Oh, interesting. Okay. Towards the video's end, the mesh is seen. September 1997, the hit James Cameron blockbuster film Lusitania is released. The film follows the romance of Jack and Rose, who sail aboard the infamous liner on her doomed voyage back in 1907 or 1912, in which she strikes an iceberg and plunges to the bottom of the ocean. I like it so far because the enemy or the creature is unknown, and there's a lot of questions in the air, a lot of mystery there that kind of has your mind filling in the gaps. And that is what a good horror does right there. I'm thinking of the Blair Witch and stuff. People think the Blair Witch is bad because they didn't really show anything, but it's your mind. And you got to remember that the Blair Witch was one of the first of its kind, other than Cannibal Holocaust with found footage. One of the first to do what it did with the found footage. So it was unheard of. And I think the marketing of it was insane or something like that to make it seem like it was a real thing. So your mind just fills in the gaps of what happened. What did they see? Who was that? What's going on over there? Is it real? And that is what this series is doing. So guys, I think you should definitely go subscribe to Jack. I'm going to go back and like all these videos. Be sure to do the same, guys. Go comment, say that I sent you, say that it's really, because this is fantastic, guys. You may not enjoy it because it doesn't show a monster, but I think the best horrors out there are all about the suspense, and the mind is the biggest weapon when it comes to like horror. You think about these horrible things, and like sometimes when you see what the thing is, the payoff isn't that great, and I don't know, the not knowing what it is, the kind of unknown is what makes something terrifying, in my opinion. So Jack, I hope you don't mind me reacting to your analog horror. I know there's a lot to come now. This is a really good analog horror, and I was very invested and immersed in this, so you've done a fantastic job. And obviously your passion for the cruise lines and stuff like that and these ships, it shows a lot for sure. And I'm not sure if that little found footage bit of like the 90s was animated or a real bit. If that was animated, that was incredible. I just got, because that looked really good. But yeah, keep up the amazing work. Go subscribe, guys, like the videos, all that good stuff. If you enjoyed my reaction, why not leave a like rating down below? Subscribe. This is the majority of my content, analog horror. Sometimes I play some games here and there. But yeah, this is the kind of content I live for. So thank you for watching, guys. I hope you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.